Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
Welcome to a bonus show of the Last Round Podcast. Today we have probably the busiest man in British boxing and a subject I'm kind of fascinated with, really, the journeyman. Today we have Lewis Van Poetsch. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, so I was the busiest boxer, but due to the pandemic,
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin McCauley's taking that role now. He's fighting more in the pandemic than he was before.
But you managed to get out. Was it last week?
Yeah, a week or two ago.
Yeah. All right, so let's kind of start at the beginning then, Lewis. So kind of what got you started in boxing? Was it like a family thing, something like that?
So boxing was never in my family bloodline, but I just sort of stumbled upon it. I was always into all sports. Like I played football. I played all sports really: football, American football, basketball. Name a sport, I've probably done it at some level, and I was always quite naturally sporty at it. Played football to a good level, played rugby to a good level, and I used to do like all those sports all the time. And the rugby club that I played for in Lydney, Forest Dean, was the boxing gym was right next door, and I always threatened that I wanted to go in there. And I used to finish rugby training like 7:30, and that was when the boxing training started. So I was always like, I'm going to go in there today. But I just never got around to it. And then I went to watch a mate of mine from Lydney called Chris Higgs. He fought Luke Campbell in the ABA finals. And he won. And I just loved the atmosphere. I just sat and watched all the fights. So it was good atmosphere there. But like me as a sports fan, I just sat and watched the boxing. I just loved it. I think I'd be quite good at that. So just that following week, I went from rugby training and then went straight to the gym and just sort of took to it like a duck to water. And then I've never looked back.
How was the amateur career?
Amateur career was all right. It was a bit stop-start because I joined the army when I was 16. Didn't start boxing until I was 15. Joined the army when I was 16, and then just sort of dipped in and out of boxing as and when I could, really, because in your early boxing army career, you're the saying is you're a soldier first, athlete second. So in my saying, it was soldier first, boxer second. So they didn't really give me the chance to do it for a while, but then sort of kept my toe in, went to the gyms when I could, trained as and when I could. But from the age of 15, 14, I was when I started. My first fight when I was 15. To in the army when I was 16. I had like 35, 36 fights or something like that. Yeah, I'm just like every opportunity I could to fight, I could. I did the championships a few times. But then I left the army when I was 18. Done a few fights here and there, but I was working at a pub, so it was hard. And then I decided to go back into the army. So then boxing took a back seat again. So I was in the army for 6 years, but then I turned pro when I was in the army, and the army sort of supported me through my start of my pro career. So then that's how I sort of got looked after in that sense. And then I became a boxer first, soldier second.
How was it when you started boxing? How was getting punched in the face for the first time?
Historically, but before I started boxing really, and like before I started like getting into like adult rugby and football and stuff, I was quite soft. I wasn't the most robust kid. I was sort of like if I got pushed over the playground, I'd cry. Like I was quite soft. I always got picked on a little bit, even by my mates, because like I was like the smaller, more like weaker one. Like even playing football at the park with my mates, like if I got clipped, I'd go down, I'd cry, and I'd go home or something like that. And like I'd get tackled hard, I'd stay down, sulk, all that sort of stuff. So, but then So during that time, like I just mentioned, me being a bit soft, a bit weak, I got into an altercation playing football at the same park, and there was a kid. His name was Jamie Henderson. His name is, and he was probably 13 then. He was about 6'5" then, and I said something to him, and he didn't like it, and he went, "I'm going to come bat you in a minute." So immediately I just shat myself. Fuck, I'm getting beaten up by big Jamie Anderson. And he came over and he started decking me. I was never thrown a punch in my life to this point. He's absolutely decking me, kicking the shit out of me. And I just got out of this like clinch at me and just swung like a Danny Garcia style left hook. Just clipped on the end of the chin and you went down. so then no one really picked me again after that. And then I started boxing the following year. Yeah.
So you mentioned you stopped boxing for a while and joined the army. Did you see any danger whilst you were out in Afghanistan?
Yeah. We had quite a quiet tour. Really, it wasn't like some of the stuff you see on the TV. But yeah, we had more of a ground holding role in Afghanistan, which meant we had to sort of keep the peace and minds and the hearts and minds, as they say, for the locals. So it was quite quiet. But yeah, a few firefights and explosions.
Any stories from out there?
Can't say.
So you came back, you decided to turn pro. So when did it go through your mind to go down the journeyman role?
Yeah. So I turned pro. I wanted to do an extra year in the amateurs because I had a bit of time out and I wanted to do an extra year in the amateurs. And I went to a careers officer at camp in Northern Ireland. And I said, I want to go in the army boxing team for a year. And then I'm going to go pro. And he went, "Oh, let me see what I can do." But there's no space in the boxing team. So that was out the window. So I went, "Fuck, let's go pro then." So he went, "All right, cool." So I went pro as a prospect. I was like, I'll fight. Quite a popular lad from my hometown of Lydney. And the surrounding area. I knew I could do a few tickets, at least for my first few fights. So that's what I did. And I was taking it quite seriously. I did all the correct stuff like all these prospects do to train for 8 weeks, 3 times a day, but quickly realized that life wasn't really for me, and I realized that I wasn't going to be a world beater in there. I thought if I really put my mind to it and everything went my way, I could probably win an English title, British title if I'm lucky. But I didn't. I knew I didn't really want to do that in terms of be a full-time athlete and take it that serious and have all the nutrition and not drink beer and all that sort of stuff. I just knew that wasn't going to be for me. I knew the novelty would wear off very quickly if I went that way with it. So I had 2 fights as a prospect. First 2 fights of my career as a prospect. I sold a shitload of tickets for my first fight. Second fight wasn't as good, and I lost my second fight to a lad called Jerome Samuels, who was a journeyman as well. And he was just sort of entering this bit of form as a journeyman. I was caught him at the wrong time, and he beat me. A really nice guy as well. I'll get to talk to him now and then. He's So then third, I get a phone call like a week or so after that fight and said, "How do you fancy fighting in London on Friday?" And I was like, "Don't take the piss, mate. Like, how do you want me to sell a shitload of tickets in a week in London? I don't live there." He went, No. You're the away fighter. You just turn up and you fight. So I was like, "Oh, all right. What's the worst that could happen then?" So I turned up and absolutely battered the kid. Absolutely took him to school and got the decision. So there's me thinking, hang on a minute. I've been running around like an headless chicken, selling tickets, when all I need to do is to turn up and fight. And then so now that's the stance I took. So I penciled in another fight in Gloucester, as a prospect or a home fighter, if you like, at this point. And that was like my 5th fight or something. I took another fight. I took another couple on the road, and I've done the Gloucester fight. Lost that one on a cut. It's just nothing really went my way in the home corner. So then I just thought, screw it, I'm not signing myself up for another one of those home corner fights. And then just sort of said, any phone calls, put my name out there for an away fighter, and just let me just see what happens. So the next thing you know, bang, ringing, phone's ringing. Do you want to fight here? Do you want to fight there? And I was like, fuck yeah, sweet, yeah. So then I'm just literally taking fights left, right, in Chelsea, and then before you know it, I'm just sort of realizing how the game works. Wasn't getting the rub of the green on the decisions because I'm the away fighter. Soon, quickly wised up as to why I wasn't getting the decisions, and then I just thought, tell you what, I'm getting mugged off in these decisions. I'm getting disheartened by getting dodgy decisions. So I just thought, screw it. What's the point? I'm just gonna take everything with a pinch of salt. Be the bloke I am. Be charismatic. Smile, wave. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. And it just went from there. Really, I've just sort of learn on the job.
How would you describe the role as a journeyman?
Don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. Like I just said, like if you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes. Like if you go out there expecting to win every fight, then it's stupid as a journeyman. Go in there with some ambition, obviously. Like I'd call myself a journeyman with a bit of ambition, a bit more skill than the layman. I can hold myself in the ring of anyone. I think on my night, and but it's hard to pinpoint like what a describing word for a journeyman. I don't know. Like I say it's a thankless task, but it's not, because you have people like yourself who want to hear the stories and want to know like the ins and outs of it. But like it does make you laugh when you turn up in Nottingham to fight a kid who sold a shitload of tickets and he's fucking shit, and you've got to carry him around the ring. Like, that's not a pinpoint anyone from Nottingham, by the way. That's just an example. That's first city that popped in my head. But yeah, and it's just like you have to carry him around the ring, and they're all you can see all his mates in the bar with him after, think he's gonna be a world beater. Yeah, and you'll just sort of sneak out the back door, and I might get one or two handshakes on the way out. But yeah, so it's a funny old game. But people just never understand it. People that are not involved in boxing will never really get it.
Has there been times, because obviously there's kind of like an unwritten rule, like don't try and knock you out. Has there been times when you've just been in the ring and they've tried to knock you out and you've gone, all right, let's go for it, and you've taken them out?
Yeah, well, like that. I never really made that on the spot decision to do that. But like the like you said, the unwritten rule is don't try and knock me out and you'll win on points. It's quite simple. But not try and knock me out and you haven't got the ability / power to do so, then you're in for a rough night. Especially if I've been in the gym or whatever. And the same goes for all the other journeymen out there. I think they'll have the same views as me. But yeah, there's been a few ones like that where you just thought, tell you what, mate, I know full well you can't knock me out, so I'm gonna let you punch yourself out, and I'm gonna come on strong, and then and still be smiling at the end of it, and just sort of give. Then you sort of get the little wink and the nod off them, thinking, okay, fair play, you know this game better than I do. Yeah, there's a lot of the ones like that. They come out swinging for the fences, and you know full well that they haven't got the energy and power to do anything. So it's just weather the storm. Richard Farnan, who's my coach, he'll always ask me, "What's the power like?" And or I can, after the end of the first round, or I can hear him during the first round just saying he's gonna blow his load, he's trying to knock you out, etc. And I'm just sort of like acknowledging him, giving him a little smirk when we get into a clinch, and then or I give him like a nod, say everything's fine in here. Then he's happy, he can just relax then, and then it's just a case of going back to the corner of the second round, seeing, and I'll go, he's blown out of his ass. I can hear him breathing heavy. So I give him 30 seconds the second round, and then start letting my own shots go. Then
any fights that you've won that's affected, obviously, work the next week?
Not really, no. Yeah. So I fought a kid called Jordan Lynch a while back, and I knocked him out in the first round. And I had loads of fights penciled in for after that. But I only had one after that. In about 6 weeks, I only had one fight. Yeah. So, but like that, I don't know really. Like, yeah, I can't pinpoint of any real ones really, but yeah, it does affect you.
Do you actually like the term journeyman, or do you find that kind of insulting?
No, I relish in it. Like, I had one of my mates ring me the other day who's also a boxer. I won't say his name at the moment just because he's having he's sort of going through a transition period. I don't think he wants it known yet, but he rang me the other day, asking like how it feels to be called a journeyman, and he was like, people call me shit. They think I'm shit. And I'm like, how do you get over that? And I was like, you just got to laugh it off, mate. You know full well what your role is and why you're taking that role. So then, I don't see why people have the right to make that assumption. Even people within boxing, if they're calling you shit, then they obviously don't know what they're talking about, and they haven't got that they haven't got that depth in their brain to be able to comprehend what a journeyman is. And I just said to him that, speaking, if the layman in the pub tells you that you're shit because you've lost shitloads of fights, then just laugh it off because they ain't know what they're talking about anyway.
That's kind of the identity that you kind of took. You kind of you seem to have fun. You dance, you sing, you take photographs with the crowd, and for that short period of time, you had the Charles Bronson mustache.
Yeah.
Where did that
Still
idea?
that for 5 years.
where did that idea come from?
What, the Charles Bronson or just my persona?
Both.
So my personality is just I'm a bit of a happy-go-lucky chap, but I don't really have many down days. Really, not a lot really pisses me off. So I just sort of put that personality over into my everyday life and as well as my boxing, and that just sort of carried over into the Charles Bronson thing, which sort of got my name out there a bit more. But that came around by accident, where I took a bit of time off boxing, and in that time off, I blew up to like 16 stone. Got really fat, and so that's what, like 220 pounds to you guys in the States. but yeah, so I got really fat and I got really big, and because I was really big and I was really fat, I grew a big beard. I looked like Rag and Bone Man, right? So then, like, I decided to get fit, lost a shitload of weight, so I was looking really slender and really good, but I still had this really big shit beard, and it was Halloween night, and I was like, I haven't picked an outfit. What should I do? So I started playing with my tash. I was like, holy fuck, that waxes up. I said, hang on a minute. So I got the clippers, zinged it off, done that, shaved my head. I was like, Bronson. So I went to Halloween as Bronson that weekend, and then I thought, tell you what, it's Movember now. Let me do a Movember thing. And for the month of November, all these 4 fights that I've got, I'll wear little shorts. I'll do the Queensbury pose, and I'll wear some little shorts and some old school boots. So I did that. Got my dressing gown, got my flat hat. Picked a quirky song which gets the crowd going, which was Little Richard's Tutti Frutti. Yeah. So then it just sort of spiraled from there. Really, the press got hold of it, the fans loved it, and then I thought, I'm not ready to give this up yet, so I just kept it going. And it never really wore off. I was finding new venues every weekend, and it just sort of, the crowd just got hold of it. The press kept calling me to talk about it, and yeah. So then that's how that transpired. But I just kept getting. I work on building sites these days, and I'm up early. And I can't be asked to wax a tash up, so I just sort of zinged it off because it was pissing me off at work.
Obviously, journeymen are kind of famous for taking short notice fights. What's the shortest notice you've taken for a fight?
I think I've been like on the way to fights and asked if I can step in and fight that same night. But I think the shortest notice I took was probably that I was working in London. This is quite recent as well, last year. I was working in London, and John Dockett was meant to fight Ryan Aston. Ryan Aston failed a medical or something after the weigh-in. So it's like Friday night. I've just nailed a Burger King on the way home, and I just got back, and I just nailed a Burger King. I was eating so much crap on the way home from London because I wasn't fighting that weekend. And Rich calls me and goes, mate, what do you weigh? So I'm like, weigh whatever you want me to weigh tomorrow. Just tell me the story. So we got John Dockett tomorrow. This is, bearing in mind I'm on the way home from London after a day's work, so it's like 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. So by the time the fight got confirmed, it was probably about 9, 10 o'clock on the flight the next morning, straight in the ring. So yeah, probably 20 hours, 15 hours. Who knows?
It's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, I know people that have literally been like sat on the sofa with the missus and the phone's gone. Do you want to fight so and so in 20 minutes time? Yeah, fucking right, let's do it.
Do promoters ask you afterwards, when you go in with a prospect, is he any good?
Not so much the promoters, because they normally know their stuff, don't they? But and the trainers, but it's more so them. It's like I get a lot of boxers that I box asking for tips of what they did right and what they did wrong,
right?
And asking if what they think they can do, like in the pro game. I asked going in with oh shit, there we go. Going in with I've been in with everyone, so they always want to know where they stand on their mantra.
Is there any fights you've ever turned down where you just saw a prospect and you thought, I'm not going in with that guy because he's gonna knock me out? He's just too big, too powerful.
Not me. I've never done that. I've tried to talk Rich into taking fights for me, which he's turned down. But I've always said, screw it, let's do it, mate. Yeah, I've talked him into letting me take fights that I've been fighting where he thought I wouldn't be, and he's also vice versa talked me out of fights where he thinks I wouldn't have got on all right. But I'd take anything.
You've been in with, Sam Eggington, Zach Parker, Lerone Richards, Umar, Sadiq. Who would you class as the best you've been in with so far?
I always say the Lerone Richards because I was in 5th gear going backwards and he was just cruising. He just couldn't miss me. I couldn't lay a glove on him. He just took me out. Didn't knock me out. Just the referee sort of prematurely stepped in my opinion. But he was just doing what he wanted with me in there. He was only a 4-rounder as well, and I was blowing up my ass, and I couldn't get out of the way of him. And between him and Zach Parker, I'd say are up there. Umar Sadiq's come on leaps and bounds since I boxed him. I boxed him in his debut, and I got to be honest, I didn't think much of him then. I thought he was good, but I didn't see what the fuss was about. But he's really come on well. He's really improved. And I really rate him these days.
You've fought 135 fights, if I'm right. What's the best arena you fought at?
The O2 Arena in Greenwich, London, and the Manchester MEN Arena. That's a special place. I liked it there. The copper box was quite good. A lot smaller than the other ones, but nice. Like he's got that was where I fought Sadiq actually. So that was nice arena. But a lot of the good arenas are the smaller sort of run-down places, like obviously the York Hall in Bethnal Green, Ulster Hall in Belfast. That's really nice. There's one in Walsall called the Walsall Town Hall, which is like it's got like a nice feel to it. Yeah, and then you get like on the spectrum. The thing is, there's no spectrum with the professional boxing. Like 1 week I'm at the O2 Arena. And then, like, I think this literally happened. I was in 1 week, I was in the O2 Arena, and then, like, a few months later, I was boxing in a derelict rugby club in Hull, where they didn't have it. It was in like December or something like that, and I know it was a dead of winter. It was fucking freezing, and it was like they had it in like this like a derelict rugby club with a sports hall which had no heating. So they had like on the 4 corners of the building, they had like blow heaters, like there's like
big electric ones.
Generator power blow heaters. Yeah, they had them blowing in all forms of the building. It was still freezing in there, and they put them in the shit rugby changing rooms which had no heating as well. Yeah.
Is that the worst you've been at?
Probably. I think so. It's hard to pinpoint another one which I think was which is not as glamorous, but there is no glamour side to the boxing at my level. Like the other week when I fought on the BT card, a BT Sport card, I turned up on Wednesday in my work boots. There's no one there to greet me. I was just sort of checked in the hotel room on my own. Turned up to do my COVID test. Turned up at the weigh-in on my own. Turned up at the fight on my own, and then just got the got the next train out of Paddington and went home on my own. Like, there's no like entourage. There's no like, there's no people shouting in the background for me. It's just me. Normally Richard as well, but like, he couldn't come because he had a tested positive for COVID, so it's just me. But then and then like I posted stuff on social media before of me training in my mate's. I used to borrow my mate's garage in Chepstow. He had a punch bag in it, so I was just training there. So I just wrap up nice and warm in the winter. And there's another one in my mate's lockup. He's a builder, so there's just like bits of timber and that behind me. I just punched the punch bag. Yeah, like that's just reiterating the not so glamorous side of boxing.
I think last year you fought 31 times. Because you fight so much, do you have to spar?
I have actually been sparring a little bit recently, not too much. I don't really like sparring. It sort of puts me off training when I spar because I don't like it. I never perform well while sparring. But yeah, like when I'm fighting regularly, I reckon this year I've sparred the most I have in 6-7 years. I reckon I never spar. I've got a sparring kit and it's normally just packed away in my kit bag. But I don't train at a boxing gym normally. Well, even now I don't train at a boxing gym. I just train at any public gym I can get my hands on. Just because I find a public gym which has a punch bag in it. It's got as long as it's got a treadmill, a punch bag, I'm set.
Do you have a goal in mind, like 200 fights and that's you're going to retire, or 250 fights and you think you retire?
Yeah, so the record's 300, and if I can get there, then great. But probably I've lost a year of my boxing career this year. But my motto has always been one medical at a time. Like at the moment, I can talk properly. I'm still slipping shots. My reactions is good. Like I'm not really forgetful. I've got a good memory. Like yeah. So I think any sort of medical changes and medical issues, then I'll be gone. But until then, I'm going to keep going. So one medical at a time, one fight at a time. But at the moment, the goal is 200. Provided we get back to some sort of normality, I think that's very achievable.
If you had to retire today, what would you class as the best moments of your career so far?
My debut was good because I'd sold I'm from a footballing background, like I said, and that debut was good because I had all my mates from Lydney there. Whitecroft football team I played for at the time. We have 3 teams, so I sold I sold a ticket to them and their missus. I'd done my allocation already, and yeah, the football drum there. They were singing football songs with a name replacing it. That was pretty good. But I don't really know. Like me and Rich have so much good fun. I love going to shows where people know me. I love going on Sam Kinnock shows in Scotland because people know me up there. We're quite popular up there, and he puts on a good show. He's got a good DJ, good music on. So normally they get me on nice and early, so I can just enjoy the night. Yeah, so good times of just singing Sweet Caroline before the main event. But I'd say I wasn't even on this show, but probably the one that sticks out of my mind the most, before the hay fights, I don't think. But Tony Bowie I wasn't a big fan of Tony Bowie. But I bought it was Rich's birthday in November of that year. Well, every year, but that year I bought him a ticket for I bought him a ticket for me and him to go watch the Usyk fight. And the atmosphere in that MEM was just something that really took me back. And thing from Z-Cars will forever. That song, when that song plays, it always makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And it was just that was a moment that just really will forever stick in my mind. And I'm not a massive fan of Anthony Joshua, but I got a freebie to go watch him against Parker. And when I walked up the steps of the Principality Stadium in Cardiff and saw a boxing ring in the middle of a stadium which has 80,000 open seats, that really made me feel proud to be a boxer. So there's certain points of my career. I've not been involved in them directly, but moments have made me stand back and appreciate the sport of boxing and the sport that I love.
Do you have any other goals in mind? Any like sort of countries or stadiums you'd like to fight in before you retire?
I think those sort of goals are unrealistic for journeymen because like for instance, I'll never get a license to fight in California just because they don't understand what we do in this country, and they don't the athletic commission. This is, by the way, they don't understand what we do, and they're like, and like they just look at my record on paper and they'd say, we're not putting him on a card over it. That's pointless. But they don't know that we can fight, and I'll see some of their journeymen, like some of these guys with padded records, just go to like Midwest and Kansas and the smaller states and pad their records up on the nightclub shows, and then end up getting like I saw a guy fought not Brandon Rios, he was a guy Mike Alvarado, and this is quite a while ago, and he was just so far out of his depth, and he just looked like he shouldn't have ever been in the ring. And the fact that he got a license to fight Mike Alvarado in Vegas, wherever it was, just because he had like a 15-3 record. Yeah, but I think I fought in Norway, I fought in Switzerland as a pro, Scotland, if we can cast that as traveling, and Ireland. But
how did the Norway and Switzerland fights come about for a journeyman fighter? Like, how did you get called out for those?
I don't really know. It's Rich's job, but I just sort of. I'm not too sure. I don't think any of those countries have much depth. So I think they look at. I think one of them was having his like second or third fight, and the other one was his debut, signed to a big promotional company. So I think they just probably thought, tell you what, flights are cheap from England. Let's look on the box rec thing in the UK and just pick a name out of hat. I think that's what happened, and I think they just scrolled down, saw my name, and thought we'll have him. Yeah, on both of those, but both of them great weekends. Looked after us both, but looked after us really well.
One idea that I think I saw on Twitter, it was a while ago, was like a prize fighter for journeyman.
Yeah.
Would something like that interest you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like, I'd lap that up, to be fair. But I think like some fighters out there are technically classed as journeymen, but they're not. And then I think they'll have the better of us quite easily. Like people like Anthony Fox, he's really, really handy. He's really good. But technically, he's a journeyman. He's a away fighter, can't sell tickets, but he causes the upset here and there. But I spar with him. He always gives me a nightmare. It's just like I've probably won a handful of rounds against him the whole time we've been sparring together. Like, and Rich he's been Simon Rich for the last 5 years. I've been Simon Rich for the last 8. So yeah, we spar here and there, but people like him would clear up. And I like called Adam Jones, if he was still boxing, his spark us all out. He's great. But lucky he don't fight anymore. So put the competition on. Me and Anthony in the final.
Some of the questions we're asking since it's getting towards the end of the year. Who is your fighter of the year so far?
It was early in the year, wasn't it? Tyson Fury. Like, it was just, when was that? February? Yeah.
Yeah, February.
Tyson Fury, I think. I really rate the guy. I really like him. But yeah, I think just on that performance, just sort of stole the show this year.
How about your knockout of the year so far?
Don't know, Put me on the spot, yeah?
Povetkin?
Yeah, that's got to be it, I think. Beautiful slip inside, pop. Yeah. Especially, yeah, I'm going to go with that. You've done well there, putting that in my head. Yeah, Povetkin.
And then the fight of the year.
Fight of the year. Yeah, nice. A few of the fights on the fight camp were quite good. Rachel Ball and Shannon Courtney was good. That was a good back and forth fight. And I'll tell you what, actually, fight of the year for me, female fight, it was Terry Harper against Tasha Jonas. Really good fight.
And then this weekend, for me, I liked that Jose Zepeda against Baranchek, the top rank one that was on.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, that's good. That's a good fight. But I'm going to stick with Terry Harper because I really enjoyed watching that fight. And good team up there with Steffi Ball. I like them a lot.
And then this weekend, obviously, we have Canelo against Callum Smith. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's just. I was chatting to a bloke on site today who's he was a boxing fan. He's a casual. He's probably above casual, but he's not a hardcore fan. So like he was telling me that Canelo's just gonna have his way with him, and be easy. Well, I was just a bit like, I don't think you watch enough boxing to justify that as an answer to what I've just asked you. But I think Canelo will win. But I don't think he's going to have it all his own way. I can see it being a really tough fight for him. And I think it all comes down to how Callum Smith makes the weight. Because I think when he fought John Ryder, I think it was a mixture of the weight cut and the big fight mentality. It was just a mandatory or a voluntary, I think it was. I don't think he had that big fight feel for him. And I don't think he had that fear factor. So like, I think it's just going to come down to how he makes the weight. And if the occasion is going to get to him, but I don't think it will. But I think Canelo will break him down, and I think he edges him out on points.
Would you have you decided about doing a book or anything once you retire?
Nah, no one's going to read a book about me, are they?
Just about the journeyman role, though. It's something that maybe it's just me as a big boxing fan. It kind of fascinates me.
I don't think I'd do a book myself, but if someone was like, there's a book out there called Journeyman, and it got published way before my time. It was like Johnny Greaves and Jody Meikle and Christian Late and Peter Buckley and stuff like that. But if they did another one of those, then I'll definitely like to feature in it. And I think I'll probably be up there on the top of the list as someone that would be asked to be in that book. Someone else wrote a book about it. I'll definitely get involved, but I wouldn't do one myself. I don't think I've got the patience for it, to be honest. I could barely read and write at the best times. I'm writing a book.
All right, Poetsch, anyone that wants to follow you, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, all the socials. At POOCHI_17. Instagram, Twitter, and Poetsch Van Poetsch on Facebook. Yeah, that's it.
When are you out next? When's the next fight?
I was hoping to get out tomorrow, but it fell by the wayside in the end. I've already fought the kid. I fought Idris Virgo a while back, and he's fighting tomorrow on a Hennessy show. But that fell through for whatever reason, and so don't really know now. Maybe end of January. I'll be staying fit. I'll probably training more than I ever have done in the past. just because I've just got really into my fitness now. Just quite enjoying. Just keeping fit and keeping a routine. So I'll be ready to go by in the January. I'm ready to go now, but I'll take Christmas off and take over if I can be asked, and then hopefully end of January.
Well, hopefully you get a better, 2021, and hopefully you can get the 200, 250, or even the magical 300 number, over the next couple of years.
Yeah, maybe. I'm 30 now, so cock's against me a little bit, but I reckon I've got another couple of years left at least. So I'll keep going.
Awesome. Well, it's been great having you on the show, and we're at The Last Round 12 on Instagram and Twitter, and this is The Last Round.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe. This is The Last Round Podcast.